Board. Share screen. Boom. All right. Warm-up problems. Sweet. All right, so I'm again trying to just cover all the bases here. And I want you, just when you hit this assignment, I want you to find success and not frustration. So this first one, bless you, by the way. It has a missing term. Do you see it? It you would maybe not think that it does, but if you think about it, it really does have a missing term at the end. And so when we think about the dividend, the first guy, it should go x to the third, x to the second, x to the first, and then a constant term at the end. And so the fact that there's no number at the end right there where I'm pointing means that we have to fill in a zero. So remember, the process from Thursday is that we take the coefficients off of the dividend, the first one, and we line them out. So 3 is for x to the third, and then there is no gap here. We go right to 20, that's for x to the second. And then we go right to -6, that's for x to the first. And it is important that you add a zero, even if it's at the end. And then we're going to do our upside down. Remember, this is our synthetic division symbol. And what number do you remember will we put over here on the outside? -7, good. Remember, we always want to use the number that would make the divisor equal 0. -7 is what would make that thing that I just underlined in purple equal 0. And then the algorithm kicks in, like assuming that you've filled in all the holes with zeros, then from here it's just drop, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. It's just repeat over and over again. So step one is to drop the 3, and we begin the algorithm. What's the next step? So that number on the outside, the -7, he is a part of every step. Like he gets he's in there every time. So like -7 times 3 is -21. So we put that there. Every time you multiply, you put your answer right there underneath, like kind of in that division sign. And then we add what's 20 and -21? -1, and then we multiply again. And here comes -7 saying, I'm back in the game. He's going to keep coming back in the game. What do we get? +7, and we add those together, and what do we get? +1, then we multiply, and what do we get? And then we add them together, and we get -7. So again, at every step along the way, you're multiplying diagonally and then adding vertically, and then multiplying diagonally and adding vertically. And the only number that can say, hey, I'm a part of every part of this is this yellow guy. He says, I'm always in it. I'm going to keep multiplying by whatever number you stick down at the bottom, right? So to write this answer, remember that it's throughout the day going to be quotient plus remainder over divisor. So, oh, and it's a good idea, by the way, to box your remainder. Honestly, you might think that's weird, but it does help to like visually sort of isolate the remainder and separate it from the rest of the stuff. So how would I start writing my answer on this one? It's going to come from this number right here that I'm circling in green. He's the leader, so I'm going to put him down. 3 watts. You always want to think of this as peeling one layer off. And so the problem started up here as an x to the third. I circled it in green for you, way up at the top. He started at the beginning 2 minutes ago as an x to the third polynomial. If we divide by one linear level, then we peel off one layer and he drops himself to 3x to the second power. So when you begin writing your quotient, you're always just going to diminish the power by 1, remember. And then what's the next number in order? -1x, good, good. And then what goes after that? +1. So these 3 numbers in this purple box right here, the numbers in the purple box are where your answer comes from. That's called the quotient. So that's the polynomial that you build as your quotient. And then this does have a remainder, so I can't just submit the green thing as my final answer. So from here on out, I need to say plus remainder over divisor. So what's going to go up on top? Good job. And then what's going to go on bottom? Yes, the entire divisor has to go on the bottom. So this is what I would type into Delta, or if it were a quiz, it's what I would put on my paper. So that's quotient plus remainder over divisor. Any questions there? Okay, let's do another one. I feel like these 10 minutes up front are going to save us more than that on the back end. And second hour was pretty good evidence of that. So we have this time 2x to the fourth plus x to the third minus 27x plus 9. And we're going to divide that by x minus 2. Get used to the vocab. Dividend is the first one. Divisor is the second one. Answer is quotient. Okay. All right, let's get to it. We got to line out our numbers. So what are they going to be going across the top? Yep. Yep. Good job. Yep. Nice job, James. Good job catching that. And so this one had a 0 in the middle, but I still have to fill it. And then what's going to be the number that I put on the outside? Positive 2. Very good. So remember that purple 2, he has a hand in every step. Every time he multiplies, he just sits there and waits. Give me something to multiply by. And here we go. Drop the 2, multiply, we get a 4. Add, we get a 5. Multiply, we get a 10. Add, we get a 10. Multiply, we get a 20. Add, we get a negative 7. Multiply, we get a negative 14. Add, we get a negative 5. And then again, I would encourage you to box that. So once again, we do have a remainder. Check all my math real quick. 5, 10, 10, 20, negative 7. Yep, that's okay. So again, we're going to get our answer from this thing that I'm circling in green. He's like the leader. He says, okay, I'm going to kick off your answer. So what does he kick off? What is he? 2 what? 2x to the third. Very good. And if you're wondering again where that comes from, he's just one less power than where he started. So, and then we just build it, scaffold our way down throughout the term. So 2x to the third plus 5x squared plus 10 regular x's minus 7 plus a fraction. And what goes on top of the fraction? Good. And what goes on the bottom? Just like that. Okay. Let's do one more. You guys feeling warmed up? Okay. Last one. X to the fourth plus 10x to the third plus 21x to the 2th minus x minus 7 divided by x plus 7 again. What are my numbers going to be that I string across the top?
Zero.
No. There's a number right there, but that is a 1. Yes. So we have 1 and then 10. Keep going. 21. Good. So no gaps this time, okay? And then what's our number on the outside? Again, negative 7. Good. And then the algorithm kicks in and we just, I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't make mistakes. I do. I make them all the time. Just try not to. Try to be good. Try to multiply correctly. Try to add correctly. Try not to make mistakes, obviously. Thankfully, Delta will call you and give you a second chance if you do something. Earlier today, I saw someone say 3 times 6 was 12. I saw someone say 11 minus 15 was 4. It happens, and it happens all the time. So you just have to try not to. So anyways, drop the 1, boom, multiply, negative 7, add 3, multiply, negative 21, 0. Don't let this bother you when right in the middle of a problem you get a 0. It's okay. Now you just keep pressing on. The algorithm doesn't break down because something weird happens. You keep going. So you multiply again, purple by red, you get another 0. Add, you get negative 1. Multiply, you get 7. And then you do get a remainder of 0. So the reason I wanted to do this problem with you was I wanted you to just be aware and refreshed to the fact that not all problems have remainders, right? And also, I wanted you to be aware of how to write the answer when there's a missing term in the actual quotient. So let's begin. And when we go to write our answer, remember this guy that I'm circling in green, he's the leader of the pack. He kicks it off. So what is he? What does he say? He does. He says 1x cubed. And I elect to not write the ones in places like that. You could, it won't, no one would ever count it wrong. And then what's next? And then next, -1. Very good. In the same way that we fill holes when we write the problem, we have to fill holes when we express our answers. And so a missing term in the answer, we treat it just like we would in the problem. So the X term got bypassed in that case. And there is no remainder. So if I were typing this into my Delta Math, I would type just that. You don't need to put like +0 or anything weird like that. No remainder equals, type in the quotient, call it good. You guys good? I think it goes without saying, but people say that all the time, and here I go. I'm going to say it anyways. This is a paper pencil assignment. It's on Delta Math, but obviously we're not getting through this without our paper and our pencil. So get cracking. I hope you have success. I don't need you to finish it today. It'd be pretty rad if you did, but don't sweat it. If you have a question, if Delta tells you it's wrong, give it a double check first, and then feel free to call me over or whatever you want to do, and I'll give you a hand. Okay. I'm going to leave the recording going and I'll just unpause it if anyone has questions. That seems like the way to go.